Yeah, Workin. That's good. Anyway, it's your boy. Say that like it means anything, but we got the game we're working on. We got the levels and even more levels. And even more levels to make. This is looking good, but you could do with some more fancy stuff going down. So we currently got the starting room, the next room, which requires you to kill them, the room that just shows this, and branches you off. Why don't I make you go this way first before you're allowed to go over here? There's nothing stopping me. Just whatever I'm doing is what I'm doing, I guess. So, it's 'cause my stream chat is broken on this thing. Yeah, I think OBS hates me. I can't see my stuff. Oh no, it works. I just have to pop out only the chat itself, I guess. That's doable. And yeah, we have basic stuff. So if I'm droning on everybody, it's a lot of work on me to remember things that I'm doing. The first time I've actually gotten this far on something with this level of intricacy to the most of the stuff. Hell, it's the first time I've actually made a level builder that doesn't require editing the data directly, so I can actually manage things nicely. Don't question the testing level. I needed performance checks. Alright, so got the enemies, you got the condition, the break that open, takes you to this room from there. This room up here has a bunch of bugs with 8,192 health on all of them. Because nothing says screw you like making a room where the bugs are just unkillable. That's actually the entire purpose behind them. Just make them unkillable. Might make achievements later. Well, I'm going to. I'm probably going to make an achievement just for managing to get past all those bugs in there. Got the room of pain and suffering. Hmm. And we've got this room. You have to kill these all for the door to open. The door doesn't play any sounds yet when it opens. It just, when they're all dead, it opens the door. Which isn't much, but it's working, so that's great. This room's empty though, so we're gonna work on making this fancy. This area right here is mainly empty. This has a light that shines about here, so let's make the assumption that it's there because there's a platform here. That's a bit too close, though. Ah. God, I love going through the time to implement a save and load. Well, undo redo. Now let's see. Rope. Right about here seems good. Let's go with a chain. Then let's angle it. Like that. 12 seems good. And then if I lock it, got the chain that support that. Now you got this shape, which seems off to me. I'm gonna place some boxes here because it seems like they have a reason. There's no reason to put it there, though. A light seems like a good idea right there. And that fixes most of this. We have this area now. Or we could keep it level. It doesn't feel right to be equal in height to it. This feels more right to me. Ah, damn. I right-clicked in the middle of it, so it suddenly is unable to deal with the idea of background tiles, I guess. So there's a thing I'll need to fix in it. Which chain do I want? Why can't I get rid of you? That's weird. That's just some funky stuff going on there. Oh, I think I get what's going on. In my undo redo, it's trying to start a new action with the old action, isn't it? Okay, well, I'll probably need to explain in more detail than just what I said. Undo redo can only have one current action that is going on. And you cannot create a new one until you tell it that that action has been committed. I'm assuming that it failed to commit the action at one point, so it fails to start or end the new ones. So, if I do undo there we go. Now, if it's in the middle of an action, it just emergency ends that action. Means, hopefully. Yep. Seeing what was happening when I left-clicked and right-clicked, it tried to start a new action, but it saw the old action in the mist, so it errored that out and resulted in any further action being stuck in the middle of them. Welcome to coding, Digital Limbo Edition. Nothing makes sense, and that's why it makes sense. Now we have my enemies. Bastard with a staff. And I'm not saying that as a form of being rude. I'm saying that because just conceptually, that's how I speak about any enemy I don't like. I don't like this guy. He shoots bullets really fast. He is the bastard. However, this is the true bastard. Because when all else fails, just shoot them at extremely high speeds. I'm not doing that though, because that'd be evil. Not yet. That's called boss fight material. So you. Let's just shift you directly for now. And I'm gonna place you there. And you're moving straight about that far. Let's cut you down to about here. And 60 foot. Yeah. That is nice because I made it so you can either do. This is how many times it can do the complete distance each second. If I mark global speed, then this is how many pixels it'll travel per second. I use that to just control if I want it to be synchronized in speed or a set duration for how long it takes to cross. And then there's just the fancy delay. Usually keep it at half a second with 50% randomness, so it can be anywhere from half a second to a quarter second wait before it'll turn back around and move again. Anyway, I could give these guys more health, but I'll leave them for now. However, I am thinking maybe this new entity I just brought in, I'll bring him way up and way over to the side. And I'm going to change what they look like. I'm going to make this the first instance I make of an enemy with more health that's not just a troll enemy. And I do not mean that as in trolls, I mean that as in the bugs from before that are basically just unkillable. Because nothing's funnier than being a nuisance. However, let's make them half speed. And you. Alright. From there, let's offset where you are in the texture a bit. There's no instance of him with just the shield. Um, oops. Weird issue. Oh, come on. I'm annoyed that I know exactly what that issue is too now. It's interesting. Welcome to developers. Once again. Developer 102 this time. Anything that can go wrong will only go wrong when you think that it's ready to show to somebody else. At least I know how to fix that for the most part. God forbid my mess of a layout here ever actually gets used for realistic purposes, though. This was made in such a way that this is what happens whenever I select an enemy. Just goes through all the values I need set and sets them directly. Bad side is, it is actually fairly short code-wise for what it's doing, considering it handles so much data for each and every individual enemy. Anyway, on duplicate enemy, we create the copy of it. However, let's set the data to the copy of itself so that it doesn't mix itself up when it gets copied, hopefully. But only if I manage to not screw up. If I hit this button, I erred because visuals does not exist. Okay, that's fixable. If I can remember to not make my code an absolute hellscape next time. Yeah, I don't need the S. If I were to click a bug, copy. Oh wait, I almost forgot the most important thing of all. We're gonna need to handle the fact that enemies load this selector so I know when I've clicked them. So hopefully if I do that, when I click it and I duplicate it, I can click it again. I can move it, and if I click this, alright, that's working correctly. If I were to make it bigger, alright, it's not screwing up each other. Working as intended, that's amazing. I have succeeded. God knows how, but I have. Anyway, that's... I am forever impressed by my ability to do things while not knowing what I'm doing half the time. Like, I'm not even going to pull up the compute shaders right now because they're not a mess. actually, I had to optimize them aggressively to be able to run them both. Because the lighting is a shader that has to, for each pixel, get the direction to any lights. Where it just like, looks at every light, just says, hey, you within range? Yeah, no, okay then, don't bother with any of the calculations. Yes, I'm walking towards you, and until I hit what is known to be solid, I just keep marching. And it'll do that until it hits the light or hits something. Which isn't that big of an issue until the light is big. Because it means it marches, 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 and it does that for every light in the range of it. Annoying power is actually making it so different light. Well, light could have a direction and a radius for which they actually are lit up. Including actually they fade around the edges smoothly. I stepped the visuals of them a bit. Like if I load the game, you'll see. Yeah, so we have what just fades nicely, works well. The little physics, as you know, for if you were watching any of my videos before now. Thought I would start streaming while making stuff to motivate myself to actually do things, so. Hey, it motivated me to actually do this now, so that's great. What you need to do from here, there's still this one spot which just feels off to me. I know there's nothing wrong with it. It's just off. I am not a big fan of being off, to be honest, so there's that to deal with. Hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues for us. But here's hoping. So, got this guy. I'll double their health very specifically. And there you go. Stronger boy. I close that because it is unneeded. I am forever going to love how well I did this. And I'm going to keep patting myself on the back. You can't tell me otherwise. What? I am taking this rope. I am duplicating it, and I am moving that duplicate all the way down here. Then we're gonna duplicate. Let's see now. Got that. Let's cut you a bit. This one longer. This one shorter. And I'm gonna space them out a bit more. That's looking better. It looks more chaotic. That's too close to that, though. Much nicer. Alright, we filled in most of the empty space, leaving you enough room for you to move around. And no matter what, you can't be hit by this person once you enter the room, or this person. So, as long as you're here, you're technically safe. Everywhere else, you're fair game for the most part. Door opens once every enemy is dead in every group, because they're all group -1, which just means the only group that can read this enemy is when it needs everything dead. I could set the group to whatever. The funny thing is, I actually have a hidden thing. Boxes, lights, and everything, those are technically stored as entities. These don't have data, so they're not stored in the saving. But boxes store if they were blown up already. And their group ID is set to -2. Same for doors. They just have a special modifier that says what type of special they are. So I can add a condition for special reactions as well later. We'll probably work on that. Once again. And now we have the tall room. What is this room? It is tall. That is all. It won't be needing... Let's see. We can do whatever we want here, so... Tall room's going to have whatever I feel it needs in it. There we go. There we go. Let's chain you up like that. And I don't see why not. I could probably place a chain that just angles right here to there. Or angles from over here to there. Make it seem like it's only stable because it's being tensioned by something else. Actually, yeah, this would probably do it for tension-wise. Actually, I had the rope physics because I thought, why not, when seeing some people with their own rope physics. Found that most of them aren't great. Made it on the CPU. Multi-threaded it, and it kept hating on me, so I just went, screw it. It made a compute shader that was poor, inefficient, but worked. And then I found out, I actually based it off of the Hitman original ragdoll physics sim they used. Heavily simplified for the point management. Really just storing what it, instead of what it connects to, since they're stored in order, what it's part of. Because they only need to deal with things they're a part of. So if the idea of what rope they're on is different, they don't need to interact. It also meant that the collision was non-existent. I'm actually planning on branching that off later too. I have no reason not to, so I might as well just make my own collision integration for it too. And from now, 1 second, gotta do something real quick. I am back. That was a bit loud. I'm gonna lower my volume a bit for this. Not sure how well this is gonna do for me, but I'm just having fun making it right now. I'm gonna place a bunch of boxes right here. This seems like a box spot. But how many and how high? 'Cause that's evidently too tall. But that just seems weird. Yeah, that seems fair. Let's see. Bounce pads are pretty fun to me, so got this much of it, but there's this spot right here, so this is gonna have to be enemies. Just very blatantly, it is going to be enemies right there. Current code actually only handles up to 64 lights. I hard coded it to that number, but I can increase it whenever I want, so yeah. Actually, only coded that way because I didn't want it to be slower on larger numbers, so I've never needed more. If I ever do, not that hard of a fix, so that's good. This looking pretty nice. Massive room, very tall structure. It'd be pretty neat to have doors that only open or close when you're near them. But that'll have to come later. Yeah, I could do this. That way it just collides with this bit right here and just sort of droops over. It'll look pretty neat. And more vines. Alright, so we've got that. Now we need to handle this. Let's say that. Now if I look at this, you got the full room layout. go into here and I click you. Yep, it's connected to the correct room. Right click, I got you. You're connected to the right room. So now it's time to jam. I will never exceed myself with this song, probably. Pain it brought me figuring this out. Yeah, that's nice. Might get rid of one of the lights down there. It seems like the 2 is too many for it. And there we go. Got this all going on, so working properly. Nothing is broken. And now I'm stuck at the bottom of a massive room. But yeah, it's working, so that's great. So now we just need actually unrelated. Alright, so I was seeing the light was weird. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna mix it so it's just gonna be the bigger of the two. Seems like it's lowering the number when it's around those points. So let's do a quick, simple test of just did it fix it using the power of screw it dev environment. Every room is test room. And yeah. That works, but it just feels wrong to me. So I'm going to actually swap out a bit of this. Let's see. Well, set target off of this. Make your train target. Let's see. Try the final alpha minus it. It works for singular lights. The issue with the mixing is when the alpha is low for a position, I have to compensate for that. Need to make the assumption of not the average, but the maximum plus the current value. Let's see now. No guarantees, but yeah, that's looking better to me. And my GPU is not hating it. That's actually pretty good. I actually got a monitor to my side explicitly for the purpose of checking out how it's running. And it is run better than I could have really hoped for in most situations. I don't need two of you. But if I put you here, it feels weird. I can put it there and it feels about right for now. Down here, clear that one out. I'll leave those around. It would be nice if I could. Well, actually no, yeah, I technically could have it pre-sim just where it should start off at, where it just simulates the world physics for a few seconds without any turbulence, just to figure out where it thinks it should actually be. It would work. Alright. Yeah, I'll just start throwing enemies in here for now. Leave the time to figure out stuff that might be a nuisance for later. Entity 0, congratulations, you now exist. Now let's stop moving you down. Reasons I'm glad I let myself edit this number directly, and why I made it so I can do math in it. Because that is annoying to just slide my way up. Yeah, we got you. Congrats. Congrats. You get a shield. And because it's you, let's give you 45 HP. And you have no ranged attack. Let's start you off. Yeah, let's leave you at 5 damage for now. We'll figure out the rest later. Why? What's going on there? Yeah, I have. Why does my stuff hate me now that I'm actually working on it? Not 1-6. Not 1-7, but 1-8. Alright, so it's generated them. They have the proper movement and stuff. Okay, so they properly exist. Ah, I couldn't click on them because I forgot to give them a collision area. Please do not judge me, I am just mentally tired of existing and functioning. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Especially considering the size of your bullets. 256 unit seems good. Let's place you right about there. Travel speed of 32. And it's that. And let's create some copies of you. Let's stop moving them around. Eh. Hmm. Just gonna place these guys basically everywhere. Yeah, but because I feel it necessary to do so. Let's make this guy right here move very little. Let's have the start progress be 0. Do them all the way over. Let's just say you get a ranged attack every 2.5 seconds with 256 speed. Let's go your health. 20. I've realized what my issue has been. When I loaded it, whenever I duplicate them, the visual instance still exists, so I need to do check out this. Basically, I'm just getting rid of the old view of an entity. Should mean if I were to click on you, duplicate you. Well, we have basic enemy, who extends the enemy base. Here we go. Now if I were to click, this is one way to get sidetracked aggressively. Yeah, that's not that bad. The enemy order in it is really just the order that created, so duplicate entities are always the last in the list. That's unrelated to most other things, but I just fixed another issue, so that's nice. Not sure how long I'll be streaming for. I'm probably gonna end this pretty soon. Because I do have stuff to do, but hey, making levels for once, so that's progress. Making progress is step one. I'm taking this thing's head. Damn it. Okay, so when I create an enemy, I have a stupid technique I'm about to use to keep track of things. Let's see. Yeah. How dare you say that to me? That's. I think I know the issue. It's creating this. This is duplicated, so it's no longer the same thing. But since I'm instantiating, it should have the same name. So I'm just gonna leave both just because if all else fails, something will work. Can't all fail on me. I say that like it's not going to happen anyways, but I pray. A new bug. I'm moving you over slightly. Dang it. Why did it hate me? Hmm. I'm just gonna perform the peak technique of screw it, tell me what you wield. As if it just doesn't want to work properly, then I'll just figure out why. That would do it. For now, I'll just stick with this being the dumb and efficient, easy way to get it to hopefully work properly. Yeah, that's that's doing it. Instead of creating a copy of its texture, just says any texture gets eliminated. It doesn't need it. Which is fine because anything created from the code should be told to stop existing. It'll be created again anyways. So yeah, that'll work fine for me. From there, back to the room of a very tall space. Here's hoping. Should probably fix this collision size. Bugs are a bit of a menace, but if you can't hit it, then that's on you as far as I'm concerned. I did it perfectly. So yeah, we're gonna have you. Bugs have the default basic just 15 health. But they're all menaces because screw you. Duplicate. Let's move them up. The bug pillar. It will do very nicely. If I wanted, I could technically make it so I could group things together. Wouldn't be particularly, well, it would be a bit of annoyance to do, but would make it easier. For now, this is plenty. It took a lot of effort as is to get all of this stuff set up properly. Specifically, the fact that it generates this map layout, it generates another layout that is just what blocks light. And that same thing is used for the rope collisions. You've got these rooms now. Got the doors, which were a bit annoying to code because they were breaking all my entity saving to the point that I had to redesign it, half of it. And redo how levels are loaded in whenever you enter them. Because the way that tile maps are, this thing is a tile, not an entity. It's not loaded until the map is loaded and 1 frame later. So I have to delay in a weird layout. And to avoid that being slow whatsoever, I did the ridiculous tactic of creating lambda functions. Gotta wait. So these are the thing that this is the only thing that got delayed. Everything else ran on time. But I had to do that sort of thing to every last one of them. And then there's just a waiting it so that the lighting map has time. I will never not question how I got half of my stuff to work, but if it works, I guess. I'm not complaining. Yeah, now if I open this, what do we load? It actually looks more complete. I'm surprised how close those two rooms are in color. It's random number generation for their hue saturation value. Well, saturation is always 0.8, value is always 1. Hue's the only thing getting changed, but they're next to each other. I'm impressed they got so close. See that like blue doesn't seem to be the trending color here. And again, like half of the cut, like a good chunk of the wheel is just blue shades, as far as the eye can tell, really. Close enough to blue to be called blue. Tangents, as always. Got this. But if you were to enter, you'd see this. You'd have to deal with these. You'd have to deal with the menace. Then you have nothing down here yet. But I feel like styling that area with just... I went out of my way to make rune symbols that actually have an entire cheat sheet for what they mean. And no, they're not pixelated. Well, they get pixelated because of the sizing, and I disabled aliasing, so they're not smoothed. They're higher res than this, it just downscales them for me, so they chill there. I'll figure out what they're supposed to mean at a later point. Well, I know what they mean, I wrote it down. Figure out what I wanted to say there later. Time is of the essence. And I don't have enough. So let's just box that. Can't go here until you kill everybody in this room. I could add random things like an actual inventory that's just like, hey, get a key first. Not sure what style of game, but somewhere between Metroidvania and platformer, I guess. Closer to Metroidvania than anything else. I'm gonna have it save whenever you enter a room, so when you die in a room, you restart in the room you died, however you were when you entered the room. It's not the most complex, but it works well enough for me, so I use it. Now we've got so much empty space to work with. I'm going to use you. You. Congrats. You have been chosen. To do what, you may ask? This. Your henceforth menace. You're looking pretty dang good to me, sir. I'm gonna leave you there. Means I need to figure out what to put here, of course. The spot which just chills. I'm still working on this for placing text into the level. Should probably get it working soon. Yeah, we got this. Got the boxes. Sorry if I keep trailing back. I'm trying to maintain a thought of what I've done and what I need done and what I want done. It's this boss room, which is where I'll have a boss fight at the end of everything. I mean, something I could probably do real quick is add a delay system for just until a result is triggered. It'll wait a bit. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Let's see. Now that we have the thing right there. And you don't dot delay next does not equal 0. Then it'll wait before it does the next one. I could technically make it delay itself instead. Actually, a pretty simple solution I could do is that. Mm, pretty sure that'll actually work. Then if I go into here, let's see, I've got an entire result system. These will delay. Let's see now. 0 tons. Now that we have that, should work fairly well. Just to make sure I'm actually going to manually go over to, let's see, should be stage 1 underscore start. Yep. If I go into you and I go into your completion array, you got all those. I'll add a delay. And let's delay it for 5 seconds. And I'll move it up top. Now the delay itself shouldn't be that complicated code-wise. I'll actually just do I'll create that. now technically should run. If I wait 5 seconds. Yeah, that's working as intended now. So we can now add delays to them and put that in the middle of them all. I'll probably also want to update the editor so I can reorder the things themselves. Since currently it's always just last ones at the end, which would cause issues if you have a lot of stuff, so I'll work on that. But beyond that, that's looking pretty good to me. I'll probably cut it out here for now. Might be back tomorrow. Adios. Next time.